Ladies and gentlemen, sure. Here's a motivational speech in the style of Denzel Washington, crafted to inspire and challenge the listener to take control of their own future. It's written to reflect his compelling delivery, wisdom, and directness. Listen, I'm going to talk to you today about something that's very important, something that's critical. And that thing is your future. Your future is not something you're just waiting on. It's not something that's out of your control. It's not something that's handed to you on a silver platter. And it sure as hell isn't something you can leave to chance. It's something that you have to take hold of, make your own, and build with your own hands. Your future, your destiny is in your hands, but only if you're ready to claim it. See, too many people are sitting around waiting for things to happen. They're waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right time, waiting for someone to come along and open the door for them. And here's the thing about waiting: time doesn't wait for you. Time doesn't care about your hopes, your dreams, or your plans. Time moves whether you're ready or not. And if you're not willing to make moves, to take action, to get out there and grind, guess what? Time will pass you by, and you'll look up one day and wonder where the hell it went. You don't have to be some superstar to create your future. You don't have to have $1 million in the bank or be born with some gift that sets you apart from everybody else. The truth is, most of the people who have made it, whatever that means to you, they didn't have it easy. They didn't have some magical path laid out before them. No, they fought for it. They bled for it. They put in the work. They made decisions when nobody was watching. They didn't make excuses, and they didn't wait for the perfect opportunity. They created the opportunity. Now, I know a lot of people talk about dreaming big. They talk about what they want to achieve, about what they hope for. That's great. But here's the difference between dreaming and doing. Dreaming is free. Dreaming is easy. But turning that dream into a reality, that takes work. That takes consistency. That takes grit. And you can't just talk about it, you got to be about it. A dream without a plan is just a wish. And wishes don't pay the bills. Wishes don't change your life. A plan, action, determination that will change your life. Understand something right now: your future is not in the hands of someone else. It's not in the hands of your boss. It's not in the hands of your parents. It's not in the hands of fate or destiny. Your future is in your hands. The decisions you make today are the seeds of the future you will harvest tomorrow. If you make bad decisions today, don't be surprised when the harvest comes up rotten. If you make good decisions, if you put in the work, if you do the right thing, then your future will reflect that. But don't expect the future to just fall into your lap. You got to go out there and get it. One of the hardest things for people to do is to stop looking for validation. They want someone to tell them they're doing the right thing. They want someone to give them approval. Well, let me tell you something: approval is overrated. If you're waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to be successful, you're already behind. Nobody is going to hand you permission to achieve greatness. You've got to give yourself that permission. You've got to believe in yourself even when nobody else does. When others are doubting you, when the world is telling you it can't be done, that's when you've got to dig in your heels and prove them wrong. Because trust me, there's no greater satisfaction than showing people that the doubt they had in you wasn't worth a damn. But here's the thing about success: it's not always a straight line. It's not always easy. You're going to face obstacles. You're going to face failure. You're going to get knocked down. That's just part of it. That's how it goes. But what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't is simple: they get back up. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. What matters is that you keep getting up. You keep pushing forward. You keep moving, because failure isn't the end. Failure is a lesson. It's feedback. It's not a roadblock. It's a detour. It's telling you that there's a better way. And that better way is what you need to find. You see, life doesn't care how old you are. Life doesn't care if you've got a college degree or not. Life doesn't care if you've made mistakes in the past. Life is going to keep moving. And either you're going to move with it or you're going to get left behind. So you better make a choice right now. Are you going to sit back and let life happen to you? Or are you going to get up, take charge, and make life happen for you? It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be perfect. But if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to sacrifice, if you're willing to keep going when it's tough, when it seems like nobody's watching, that's when you start seeing results. That's when you start building momentum. That's when you start building the future you want. But you've got to be patient. You've got to be relentless. You've got to be consistent. Success isn't built overnight, but it's built one step at a time. So don't be afraid to take the first step, and then the next, and then the next. It might be small steps at first, but over time, those small steps will add up. They will compound. And before you know it, you'll look back and see how far you've come. Now, don't get it twisted. There will be times when people will tell you that you can't do it. They'll tell you that you're not good enough. They'll tell you that you're too old, too young, too inexperienced, too whatever. But don't listen to them. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. You don't need to justify your dreams. You don't need to wait for their approval. You have everything you need inside of you to succeed. All you need is the courage to believe in yourself and the discipline to make it happen. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they can do it alone. Now, I'm not saying you need to depend on other people to make your future, but don't be afraid to lean on others for support. Find a mentor. Find someone who's been where you want to go and learn from them. Listen to them. Follow their example. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to be willing to put in the work and learn from those who have already walked the path. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to you. Nobody is going to fight your battles for you. Nobody is going to put in the hours when you're tired or pick you up when you fall down. That's your job. And it's the hardest, most rewarding job you'll ever have. You've got to get up every day, put on your armor, and fight for your future. You've got to commit yourself to the grind. You've got to love the process, not just the result. Because that's where the growth happens. That's where the character is built. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a good long look in the mirror. And I want you to ask yourself one question: am I ready? Are you ready to put in the work? Are you ready to face the challenges? Are you ready to own your future? If the answer is yes, then get out there and do it. Don't wait. Don't make excuses. Don't look for permission. The future is waiting for you. And you've got to go out there and make it yours. So take that first step. Don't look back. Don't let anything or anyone stop you. You've got everything you need to build the future you want. Now go out there and make it happen. You are the one responsible for creating and shaping your future. It's not something that happens to you. It's something you actively create through your decisions, actions, and mindset. Don't wait for opportunities to come to you. Go out and make them. Dreaming alone is not enough. Turning your dreams into reality takes consistent effort, hard work, and a solid plan. Action is what separates those who succeed from those who only wish for success. Failure is a part of the journey, not a roadblock. Every failure is a lesson and a chance to grow. What matters is not how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up and keep moving forward. Success doesn't come overnight. It's built through perseverance, hard work, and daily effort. Stay consistent, remain disciplined, and keep going even when things get tough. The future you want will come, but only if you stay committed. Your future is in your hands. It's not in the hands of your boss. It's not in the hands of your parents. And it's definitely not in the hands of some mystical force or fate. If you want to control your future, if you want to live the life you dream of, then it's time for you to take ownership. Too many people go through life waiting for the right circumstances, waiting for someone else to make a move, or waiting for a sign from the universe. But here's the truth: if you wait for all the stars to align, you're going to be waiting your whole life. You have the power to change your life. It all starts with you. You've got to understand that nothing in life happens by accident. Nothing. If you want something, you have to be the one to go after it. The people who are successful, who seem to have it all together, they didn't get there by waiting for a miracle. They didn't get there by sitting on the sidelines waiting for someone else to give them permission. No, they got there by making decisions. They got there by taking control of their circumstances, even when it felt impossible. And that's exactly what you have to do. You have to make a decision. Most people will sit around and complain about their situation, talking about how life isn't fair, how they didn't get the breaks that other people got. But guess what? That's not going to change anything. Complaining about the hand you were dealt doesn't make that hand better. It just keeps you stuck. Life is not fair. You can't change that. But what you can change is how you respond to it. You can choose to take responsibility for your life and your future, or you can continue to let circumstances control you. You have to stop letting life happen to you and start making life happen for you. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to go after what you want. Nobody's going to hand you your future. You have to take it, claim it, and fight for it. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. You have to ask yourself, what do I want out of my life? And then you have to figure out what steps you need to take to make it happen. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who act. You are the architect of your own destiny. You are the one who decides what you're going to do with the time you have. The opportunities you're looking for, the success you want to achieve, it's all there for the taking. But only if you're willing to step up and make it happen. Your future is not something that's already written like a script that's been handed to you. It's something that's written by the actions you take today. It's not about luck or timing. It's about the choices you make and the work you're willing to put in. If you want to change your future, you've got to start with your actions. I know it's easy to get distracted. I know it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you'll get to your dream someday, but the truth is, someday is a dangerous word. It's a word that keeps people from taking action. It's a word that lets people think they have all the time in the world, and before they know it, years have passed and their dreams are still just that, dreams. When you say someday, what you're really saying is not today. You're saying that you're not going to take action now, that you're going to wait for the perfect moment, the right conditions, or the perfect plan. But here's the thing, there's no perfect time. There's no perfect moment to get started. The best time to start is now. If you want to build a successful future, you have to stop thinking like a victim. Stop thinking that the world owes you something. Life doesn't owe you anything. If you want to make something of yourself, you have to create it. And that means you've got to put in the work. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes, even when it's hard, even when it seems impossible, even when everyone else is telling you that you can't do it. It's your future. And if you want it, you have to take it. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. In fact, it's going to be hard as hell. You'll face setbacks. You'll face people who doubt you, who tell you that you're wasting your time. You'll face moments of uncertainty where you wonder if it's all worth it. But let me tell you something you have to push through. You have to keep moving forward, even when the road gets tough. Because that's where growth happens. That's where success happens. You can't get to the top without going through the struggle, without getting your hands dirty, without falling down and getting back up again. The struggle is part of the process. It's the test of your commitment. It's the proving ground for your future. If you can't handle the struggle, then you're not ready for the success that comes with it. Every single one of us has the ability to change our lives. We all have dreams, goals, and desires. But what separates those who achieve them from those who don't is the willingness to take action, to face fear head on, and to keep pushing when things get tough. Your future is not something that just happens to you. It's something you make happen by what you do today. It's something you build with the choices you make every single day. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. But you do have to start. You have to make a decision to take control and then commit to doing whatever it takes to make it happen. The world is full of people who have dreams but never take action. Don't be one of them. Be the one who takes the first step. Be the one who faces their fears, who gets out of their comfort zone, who takes risks, who makes sacrifices, and who keeps going even when it's hard. That's how you create the future you want. That's how you take charge of your destiny. You are the only one who can make this happen for you. Don't sit around waiting for someone to hand you your future. Don't sit around waiting for things to magically align. Take control. Make a decision. Do the work. Be relentless. And above all, believe that you can do it. Because if you believe in your potential and commit to your goals, there's nothing that can stop you from creating the future you deserve. Your future is yours to create. And it starts right now. Dreams require action. We hear it all the time, dream big, follow your dreams, anything is possible, if you believe these are nice sentiments, and they can inspire us to reach higher. But let's be honest with ourselves, dreams without action are just fantasies. They're nice to think about, they're pleasant to imagine, but they don't get us anywhere. Dreaming is easy. It doesn't cost anything. Anybody can sit around and dream. You can dream of being successful, being rich, traveling the world, or having a perfect family. But the reality is, no dream comes true unless you get up and put in the work. Action is what makes the dream real. You can have the most beautiful, inspiring, audacious dream in the world, but if you don't take the necessary steps to make it happen, it will remain nothing more than a wish. There's a saying, a goal without a plan is just a wish well. A dream without action is even more than just a wish, it's a lost opportunity. Dreams are wonderful, but they are, in essence, the beginning of the process. They are the spark, the vision that pushes you forward. But without that action, the dream is nothing but a shadow. And here's something a lot of people fail to realize: the world doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't care how much you dream, how much you wish, or how much you want. The world will only meet you with what you've earned. It will only give you what you have worked for. And if you're not doing the work, then your dreams will remain just that, dreams. To make your dreams a reality, you have to commit to them. You have to stop talking about them and start doing something about them. We all know people who have been talking about their dreams for years, but they're still in the same place they were 5 or 10 years ago. They're still in the same job they don't like. They're still talking about what they want to do, but they're not doing anything about it. You see, they've confused dreaming with action. And you can't just wish for things to change, you have to make them change. Dreams require sweat, they require tears, they require hard work, and they require persistence. They require you to show up every single day, to put in the hours, to make the sacrifices, and to stay committed, even when it seems like nothing is working. People often talk about overnight success, but that's a myth. Overnight success doesn't exist. There's always a backstory. There's always a journey. There's always a period of struggle, of learning, of failing, of getting knocked down and getting back up. When you look at the most successful people, you see the finished product, the accolades, the wealth, the recognition. But what you don't see is the work that went into getting there. You don't see the countless hours spent behind the scenes, the early mornings, the late nights, the moments of doubt, the times when they wanted to give up. All you see is the result. And that's why so many people are misled into thinking that success comes easily. It doesn't. Success comes when you take consistent action toward your goals, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when others don't believe in you. It's the daily grind that leads to success. But to be able to grind, you first need to take that first step. And you need to take it every single day. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the action. It's about setting clear goals and then actively pursuing them. It's about creating a plan and sticking to it, even when things get difficult. But you can't wait for everything to be perfect. A lot of people get stuck in the trap of thinking that everything has to line up just right before they can start taking action. They think they need more time, more money, more skills, more resources, more everything. They think they need to be ready. But the truth is, you'll never feel ready. Nobody ever feels completely prepared for what's ahead. You think the most successful people in the world didn't have doubts? You think they weren't scared? You think they had everything figured out from the beginning? No, they took action despite the fear, despite the uncertainty. They took imperfect action, and through those actions, they learned, adapted, and grew. They didn't wait for the perfect moment, they created the perfect moment. Action doesn't have to be huge to be effective. You don't have to leap from where you are to where you want to be overnight. That's not realistic. But you do need to take those small, consistent steps. Every little thing you do towards your dream is progress. Every email you send, every phone call you make, every new skill you learn, every book you read, every ounce of effort you put into your goal matters. Small steps add up over time. It's not about making huge leaps all at once. It's about taking action every day, no matter how small, and over time that will build momentum. Now, let's talk about failure for a minute, because I know some of you are thinking, what if I take action and it doesn't work out? What if I fail? Well, let me tell you something. Failure is part of the process. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. Every successful person has failed at some point. Every successful person has had setbacks, made mistakes, and had things fall apart. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they respond to failure. The ones who succeed don't let failure stop them. They learn from it. They use it as feedback. They adjust their approach and keep going. Failure is only a lesson if you choose to learn from it. Don't fear failure, embrace it. It's a sign that you're pushing your boundaries, that you're testing yourself, that you're growing. So long as you keep moving forward, failure doesn't stop you. It only teaches you what doesn't work so that you can get closer to what does. Let's not forget that success is a journey, not a destination. Dreams aren't realized in a single moment. They aren't fulfilled by one grand gesture. Success is built every day with action, no matter how small. It's like building a house. You don't start with the roof. You start with the foundation. Then you lay the walls, and slowly, brick by brick, you build something solid. You don't build a mansion in a day. You don't become successful overnight. But through consistent effort, day in and day out, you build your dream. When you take action, you send a message to the universe, I am serious about this. You show the world that you are committed, that you are willing to do whatever it takes to achieve your dreams. And when you show up for yourself like that, the world starts to open up. Opportunities start appearing. Things start falling into place. You'll be surprised how much can happen when you take action and stay consistent. But don't expect everything to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would be successful. Success is for the ones who are willing to keep going when it gets hard. It's for the ones who are willing to face the obstacles head on and keep moving forward no matter what. And when you commit to action, when you commit to doing whatever it takes to bring your dream into reality, you'll find that you have a strength inside you that you didn't even know was there. You'll find that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. The more you act, the more you grow, the more you learn, and the closer you get to realizing the dreams that once seemed out of reach. But remember, the key is in the action. Dreaming is the start, but action is the vehicle that gets you to your destination. You can dream all day long, but until you get up and do something about it, your dreams will remain nothing more than empty thoughts. If you want your dreams to become reality, you have to start working toward them step by step, day by day. It's time to stop talking and start doing. The moment you take action, you take control of your life. You take control of your future. You take control of your dreams. The clock is ticking. So what are you waiting for? Get moving. Failure is not the end. Let me say that again. Failure is not the end. It's something that a lot of people don't want to hear, especially when they're facing the sting of a setback. When things go wrong, when the plan doesn't work out, or when you don't get the results you were hoping for, it's easy to fall into a mindset that says, well, that's it. I'm done. But if you believe that failure is the end, then you're missing the biggest lesson in life. Failure is a part of the process. It's a stepping stone, not a roadblock. It's a learning opportunity, not a judgment on your abilities. And if you want to succeed, you have to get comfortable with the idea that failure is a necessary part of growth. Too many people avoid failure at all costs. They're afraid of it. They're scared that if they fail, it means they're not good enough or that they'll never be able to recover. Society, culture, and even family sometimes condition us to believe that failure is shameful. But let me tell you something, failure is not a reflection of who you are as a person. It doesn't define you. What defines you is what you do after you fail. It's how you respond, how you recover, and how you keep going. Failure is not the end of the road, it's an opportunity for a new beginning. Look at every successful person you admire. Whether it's in business, sports, music, or any other field, they've all failed at some point. And not just once, but multiple times. They failed in ways you can't even imagine. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. The ones who succeed don't let failure stop them. They use it as fuel. They use it as feedback. They adjust, they adapt, and they keep moving forward. Failure is the very thing that pushes them to the next level. It's the thing that forces them to reevaluate, to change strategies, and to come back stronger. Think about a baby learning to walk. The baby doesn't just get up one day and start walking perfectly. They fall. They stumble. They make mistakes. But does the baby give up after falling a few times? Does the baby sit there and say, well, that's it. I'm never going to walk? No. The baby gets back up, keeps trying, and eventually walks. The key is persistence. The key is that they don't see failure as the end. They see it as part of the process. If you could ask that baby, it would probably tell you falling down doesn't mean I can't walk. It just means I have to try again, and that's the mindset you need to adopt. So why do we let failure paralyze us as adults? Why do we allow a single mistake, a single misstep to derail our whole journey? It's because we've been conditioned to believe that failure equals weakness. It equals incompetence. It equals defeat. But that's not the truth. Failure is not a reflection of your ability, it's a reflection of your willingness to try. And when you keep trying, when you keep showing up, when you keep pushing despite the failures, you are building something far more valuable than just success. You're building character, resilience, and strength. One of the most powerful aspects of failure is that it teaches you humility. It teaches you that no matter how much you've accomplished, you are still human. You are still human. You are still fallible. And that's okay. There is wisdom in failure. Every time you fail, you learn something. You learn what doesn't work, what doesn't fit, what needs to change. And you carry that knowledge with you, making you stronger, smarter, and more prepared for the next challenge. We live in a world that loves instant gratification. We want things fast, we want things easy, and we want results yesterday. But the truth is, true growth doesn't happen that way. True growth happens when you put in the work, when you fail, and when you learn from those failures. Growth happens when you're tested, when you're pushed to your limits, when you find out just how strong you really are. You can't skip those moments. You can't shortcut the struggle. If you want to reach your potential, you have to go through the fire. You have to face challenges head on, and that's where failure comes in. Here's the reality: failure can be painful. It can sting, it can make you feel like you're not good enough, and it can leave you questioning everything. But if you choose to look at failure the right way, it can be the most valuable teacher you ever have. Every failure you face, no matter how big or small, teaches you something that you can use to grow. And as you fail and recover, fail and recover, fail and recover, you're building a mental and emotional muscle that will make you unstoppable. Now, I'm not saying you should seek failure. I'm not saying you should go out of your way to mess up just for the sake of learning. What I am saying is that failure is inevitable. At some point, you will fail. It's a fact of life. The key is not to avoid failure, but to embrace it, to learn from it, and to keep moving forward. The most successful people in the world don't avoid failure. They expect it. They anticipate it. They know that failure is just part of the journey, and they use it to propel themselves forward. You see, failure is the ultimate feedback. It tells you this didn't work. Let's try a different approach. It's a reset button. It's an opportunity to take a step back, reassess the situation, and come up with a new strategy. But you can't do that if you're too afraid to fail. You have to be willing to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, to try things that might not work out. Because without that, without the willingness to fail, you'll never experience true growth. You'll never reach the level of success you're capable of. Think about some of the greatest inventors in history. Thomas Edison, for example. He failed thousands of times before he successfully invented the light bulb. And yet, every time someone asked him about his failures, he didn't see them as failures at all. He saw them as lessons. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the attitude you need to have. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, to refine your approach, and to move closer to your goal. Let's talk about overcoming failure. How do you respond when things don't go your way? Do you crumble? Do you quit? Do you throw in the towel, or do you get back up, dust yourself off, and try again? How you respond is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's not about avoiding failure, it's about how you handle it. The true test of a person's character is not in how they celebrate their victories, but in how they respond to their defeats. Success is not about never failing, it's about bouncing back every time you do. When you face a setback, when you experience failure, you have two options. You can either let it define you, or you can let it refine you. Failure can let it refine you. Failure can make you bitter, or it can make you better. It's all about perspective. Do you choose to learn from it, to grow from it, to use it as fuel for your next attempt? Or do you choose to let it hold you back? The choice is always yours. Another key thing to remember is that failure doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean you're not capable or that you're not worthy. Failure is not an identity, it's an event. Just because you fail at something doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you just encountered a temporary setback. It means you're still on the journey, still in the process, still moving forward. And in that process, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to stumble. You're going to fall. But falling doesn't mean you can't get back up. It just means you're human. And as long as you keep getting up, as long as you keep trying, failure will never have the power to defeat you. The more you fail, the more you learn. The more you try, the closer you get to your goal. The more you fall, the stronger you become. Failure isn't the end of the story, it's just a chapter. And if you're willing to turn the page and keep going, you will eventually get to the success you seek. Keep going. Be relentless and consistent. These two words might sound simple, but they carry the weight of everything you need to achieve the success you desire in life. The truth is, you can have all the talent, all the ideas, and all the dreams in the world, but without relentlessness and consistency, those things will remain just that, dreams. Too many people quit too soon. They give up just when they're on the brink of something great, simply because they can't see the finish line yet. But let me tell you, the people who succeed are the ones who keep showing up day after day, hour after hour, even when it seems like nothing is happening, even when the results aren't immediate, and even when the obstacles are overwhelming. Consistency is what separates the ones who achieve their goals from the ones who don't. It's easy to get excited about something at the start, to put in a few days or weeks of work when things feel fresh and new. But that initial motivation fades. The novelty wears off. The grind starts to feel like, well, a grind, and that's when most people quit. They start off strong, but when it gets tough, when they hit the inevitable challenges, they bail out. This is where being relentless comes in. Being relentless means that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many setbacks you face, you keep going, you keep pushing forward, even when the odds are stacked against you. It's not about being the smartest person in the room, the most talented, or the most gifted. It's about being the person who refuses to stop. You see, success isn't about talent, it's about commitment. It's about the willingness to show up every day and put in the work, even when you're not seeing the results you expect. When you commit to something, when you set your mind to a goal, you need to understand that it won't happen overnight. There's no magic formula. There's no instant success. Success comes from putting in the work over time, from showing up every single day and refusing to quit when things get tough. The moment you give up is the moment you lose. But if you keep going, if you keep putting in the work, eventually you'll start to see progress. Eventually, the results will come. And when they do, they will be the product of your relentless effort, your consistent action, and your refusal to stop. Think about the most successful people in the world, whether in business, sports, or entertainment. They didn't get to where they are by taking shortcuts. They didn't get to where they are by hoping for success to fall into their lap. They got there because they were relentless in their pursuit of greatness. They didn't give up when things got hard. They didn't stop when the journey seemed long and the finish line seemed too far away. They were consistent in their efforts. They showed up every single day, put in the work, and kept going no matter what. And that's what you have to do. You have to be willing to outlast the competition. You have to be willing to do what others won't do, even when no one is watching. It's not about what happens in the short term. It's about what happens when you refuse to quit. The key to success is not in making a one-time effort. It's in showing up again and again. Being relentless means you keep fighting, even when you're tired, even when you feel like you don't have anything left to give. It means you don't listen to the negative voices, whether they come from outside you or inside you. It means you don't give in to doubt. Every time you face a setback, every time you experience failure, you have two choices. You can either let it defeat you or you can let it fuel you. And the relentless person chooses the latter. They choose to take the hardship, the disappointment, the pain, and turn it into motivation to keep moving forward. Because they know that the struggle is temporary, but the rewards will be lasting. Relentlessness is about not letting anything stop you from going after your goals. It's about developing an inner fire, a commitment to never backing down. Being consistent, on the other hand, means you don't just show up once and then give up. It means showing up again and again and again, even when you don't see immediate results. It's easy to be excited for the first few weeks or months of a new project, to give it everything you've got when you're filled with motivation. But real progress, real success comes from showing up after the excitement fades. It comes from continuing to put in the effort long after the novelty is worn off. Consistency is about making progress every day, no matter how small that progress may seem. It's about setting a pace that you can maintain, setting goals that you can work toward every single day and sticking to them even when the journey feels monotonous or tiring. This is where a lot of people falter. They make a big push at the beginning, and then when they don't see quick results, they start to slack off. They lose focus, they lose momentum, they get discouraged. But those who succeed, the ones who achieve their goals, the ones who make it to the top, are the ones who keep showing up, even when they don't feel like it. They're the ones who continue doing the hard work, even when it feels like they're getting nowhere. They trust the process. They know that consistency over time will yield results. You can't build a skyscraper in one day. You can't build a legacy in one moment. It takes time, effort, and above all, consistency. It's important to understand that consistency doesn't mean doing the same thing over and over without changing or adapting. It's not about mindlessly going through the motions. Being consistent means doing the right thing day after day while learning, adapting, and improving along the way. If something isn't working, don't just keep doing it. Change your approach. But don't stop moving. Don't stop showing up. Don't stop putting in the effort. It's about refining your approach. It's about improving your methods, your strategies, and your habits as you go along, but always staying committed to the goal, always staying focused on the end result. Another crucial aspect of being relentless and consistent is being willing to sacrifice. There's no such thing as success without sacrifice. You have to be willing to give up something in the short term in order to achieve something greater in the long term. Whether it's sacrificing time, comfort, or immediate gratification, success requires you to invest your time, energy, and effort into something bigger than yourself. That might mean working late when your friends are out partying. It might mean saying no to distractions when you'd rather relax. It might mean making hard decisions about where to put your focus. You have to be willing to do the things that other people won't do so that you can get the results that other people can't get. Relentlessness also means having the courage to keep going, even when you feel alone. In the early stages of any pursuit, you often won't have the support or the validation that you want. People might doubt you. People might tell you that you're wasting your time. People might try to pull you back into the status quo, into the comfort zone where they feel safe. But you have to be willing to block out the noise. You have to be willing to believe in yourself, even when others don't. Relentlessness means trusting yourself, even when no one else can see your vision. It's about knowing that what you're doing is worth it and not letting anyone or anything stand in your way. This is where your mindset comes into play. You have to believe deep down that you can achieve your goals, no matter how big they are, no matter how difficult the journey. Belief is the foundation of relentlessness. Without belief in yourself and your purpose, it's easy to give up when things get tough. But when you believe in your vision, when you're committed to your mission, And when you have the consistency to keep working toward it every day, there's nothing that can stop you. Success is inevitable for the person who refuses to stop. One of the most powerful things about being relentless and consistent is that it breeds results that no one can take away from you. The more you show up, the more you improve. The more you push forward, the closer you get to your goals. And one day when you look back, you'll see how far you've come. You'll see how the small steps you took every day, the times when you felt like quitting but didn't, led you to a place where success was no longer just a dream, it was your reality. So when the road gets tough, when the challenges seem insurmountable, when the temptation to quit starts to creep in, remember this: relentless people don't quit. Consistent people don't stop. They just keep going. Because they know that success is built on those who refuse to back down. Success is for the relentless. Success is for the consistent. And if you are willing to be both, success will be yours.